Hello, America. This is Charity Smith. I am Ms. Mogul. It is my esteemed pleasure to be in the studio today hosting the Create Your Own Economy Business Summit. Listen, we can just track, right, the escalation and the momentum of interviews. We're just going forward with it, right? And so when I thought about what does today's leader really need when it comes to mindset and mentorship, I couldn't think of anybody better that I would want to have this conversation with than the one and the only Dr. James Dentley. Now, many of you may know him, but I want to give you a little bit of background into this stellar giant of a businessman, right? This icon. He is the founder of JD3 TV. You'll hear more about that very shortly. Inspired to Speak and Business Accelerator. Dr. Dentley has also hosted the Limitless for Women Summit, had the pleasure of speaking on that platform where he really did reach out to women leaders to inspire us, right? To cultivate us and to launch us to the next level. So again, I am delighted to have in the studio today with me, Dr. James Dentley. Are you there?
Yes, I am, and I am excited. Woo woo.
All right, woo woo. Come on with the woo.
That's all I had.
That's all okay. Listen, Dr. Dentley, I have not had the pleasure of hosting you in this space before. We've had conversations, certainly, but the opportunity to let America and the world in on our conversation while I pick your brain about leadership is an absolute delight and treat. Now, many may know you from the TLC world, where you've helped to cultivate millionaires in the multi-level marketing space, but you're so much more than that: a philanthropist, a global businessman, a speaker, a media icon now. And so you've taken your brand and you really have made it multidimensional, multifaceted. So I've got to pick your brain, Dr. Dentley. First of all, how did you cultivate the mindset? Come on, talk to us about the origins of all of this. How did all of this come to be? Because so many business leaders find themselves where they're mentally stuck, right? They can't think their way into the next big thing because they're mentally stuck. How did you do this?
Wow. The song says, started at the bottom, now I'm here.
Okay, come on.
My mom, my best friend, she passed away 2 years ago. And when I was a little kid, I was the only boy, 3 sisters, so it was 4 of us. She was a single parent. And I never forget that she challenged me to always think. And when I made a boo-boo or tried to do something that I should have known was never going to work, to rethink. She had a sign on the freezer. We had a freezer in our dining room, and the freezer on that sign, it simply said, think. That's all it said. I can see it now as if it's still on that freezer. And all of my life, I've just been a person to process, not really good in school, but I was able to process opportunities and which direction I would go to, and to recover very quickly, to think myself through different situations. That's where it really started. I found that I had a great gift, and I had a memory that if I wanted to memorize something, I owned it. So when I was 5 years old, I knew my multiplications up to 15 times 15. When I was 8 years old, I memorized all the books in the Bible, and some of the longest verses, I still can't get them out of my head. When I was 17, I got my first job solo, working after school from 6 in the evening to 3 o'clock in the morning with a fast food restaurant. And I memorized all 3 of their manuals: policy and procedure, operations manual, and repair manual as well. I memorized everything. I still have statistics in my head, like 123 Dayton motor revolves 12 revolutions per minute. I still have this stuff in there, how many calories, carbohydrates. I can't not move it out. I wish I would have applied it to school, but it worked out just fine. So with that memory recall, when I took an interest in something, I could lock it in. And it served me well in speaking once I was inspired to do that. But I was always an entrepreneur because we didn't have much. And if we wanted money, I had to go create it. So I did, whether rake leaves and shovel snow and carry groceries or get a paper route. All of my life I worked. And because of that, I probably, what got me to retire from a job back in 1995, January 13th. But I still don't know how to stay still. So.
But listen, there is a gift in that, though. in being able to identify opportunities. And I find that so many of America's business owners now may be lacking that. We get in these ruts, right? Where we think we're just meant to do this thing and we drive this lane until the lane hits the wall. What is it that you have, though? Or what is it that we can cultivate that gives us the ability to see ideas and opportunities around us? And as our former our interview said, it's not about pivoting, but it's about reimagining it.
Yes.
How do you do that?
Yeah. See, most people suffer from a poverty of imagination and a weakness of attention. I don't have that issue. I've always been a dreamer. When I was a kid, my mother again took us to see Peter Pan. And that's the life I wanted to live. I didn't want to grow up, and I'm still pretty much there now. I didn't want to grow up. I won't grow up. I don't want to go to school. All I want to do is play. So it's the playground, because in the playground, you have innovation. We live in an era of disruption. Industries are being disrupted. And the challenge is that we get locked in because of the human condition. We lock into conformity. So human beings don't fail. Business owners don't fail. They conform and they get locked in because 95% of your life is driven by your subconscious mind. So you don't even know what you don't know, but you swear that you're right. But the results don't show that. The other side of it is that, especially when you look at African-American businesses, 99% of them never scale because no one ever taught us how to do it. So that is the message that we bring. And then the weakness of attention, it comes from not being able to lock on, not into focusing on what you're doing, but focusing on what is your core business. What business are you really in? McDonald's, they were not in hamburger and fries. They found out they were in real estate. Amazon, they were selling books. That was a whole lot. Jeff Bezos bet everything on selling these books and realized they were in fulfillment. So what business are you really in? And if you can solve a problem and fill a need, then you got it. Because today, Charity, is the greatest time. Even with COVID and all the calamity, there's always opportunity. And there's a new billionaire created every 48 hours in a time where so many people are suffering. Why?
I don't want you to jump into that, though, because that's going to be another conversation.
Right.
That's the cliffhanger. But I want to go back to something you said that I think we as leaders forget to do. You said something about the imagination and play.
Yeah.
Can you lead us through how our mental capital really is the most important capital that we hold? The ability to imagine, to dream. How do we keep that fresh and cultivated? How do we play and imagine in the midst of an environment that may seem chaotic? How do we see past that?
Well, first of all, you have to accomplish some breakthrough. And the best way to change your life would be from the books you read and the people you spend time with. Right now, we live in an information age. And if you look at what is happening throughout our lifetime and go through what I call the breadcrumbs, because you live life forward, you just understand it backwards. That, right now, everything that you see, if you're watching this program, no matter where you are in the world, everything you see once upon a time never existed. Everything in life happens two times. It's the thought, then the thing, the mental, then the physical, the inner, and then the outer. The challenge is that we don't realize that everything that's ever been created. Look, we got some people living in space in a station. We got robotics in Mars, and now we're exploring Mars to go live there. We have driverless cars already about to be in production, pizza ovens that will be inside the car, and the drones will pick it up and lay it down on the X you marked on your app or your phone. Right now, you look at the world and say everything that was ever created, whatever they needed to create it was already here. Everything you need to disrupt or be the best at or open up a new category, it's already here, but you can't see it because all you can see is based on your truth, your paradigm. See, what you live, you learn. What you learn, you practice, and what you practice, you become. And it's not bad, but we were indoctrinated and taught some things that we had to follow a path to become successful. Wow. And then they made a left turn and nobody told us.
That part. That part.
Yeah, that part.
Okay. But here is the thing, though. We find that so many business owners, and environment has so much to do with what you see and how you perceive your reality, right? And it's kind of like, I believe it was the Aslov's method, right? Where a dog was shocked so many times if it approached the fence, and
Mhm.
after a while the fence is removed, but the dog still won't approach the fence
Yeah.
because of the memory of the
Yeah.
shock. And
Yeah.
I find that so many business leaders right now, Dr. Dentley, are kind of having that experience with the whole COVID
Yeah.
economy.
Yeah.
They're afraid to dream or try or
Mhm.
bust out of molds because of the pain of the environment. How do we work through trauma in business?
Yeah. Nature always takes care of its own, Charity.
Mhm.
And with COVID happened, it forced individuals to make the change. You didn't
Mhm.
want to make it, but you're forced to make it. Your restaurant was shut down. What do? Okay. So perhaps we cook and then we go into DoorDash and Uber Eats and Grubhub and let
Yeah.
them deliver it. People are not coming out to the stores anymore. So Instacart became, and all these different companies and these other applications
Mhm.
created companies that do hundreds of millions and billions of dollars because there was a challenge, because entrepreneurs solve problems.
That's it.
You identify a problem and you feel a need. And when you can start thinking differently and asking yourself some very stark questions, because in every question there's an answer already baked in there.
Mhm.
But we don't like to answer the questions. We like to complain about the challenges. When
Well,
we complain about the challenges, we give energy and we give strength and we feed the
mhm.
things. And that's why what Job meant when he said, "The things I have feared have come upon me. I
Mhm.
dwelled on it and I manifested it." So
Wow.
shift what you're dwelling on, your possibility. You get back into lockstep with your creator, however you want to define it, because in the beginning, God created and born in the image and likeness. That's what we've done from the beginning of time, from the beginning of human existence was to create, from the time of just being on the ground to moving into a cave to finding
Mhm.
light for a cave and just getting tired of sleeping, sitting on a rock and making a chair. And
Okay,
then a pointy rock at that.
there you go. Wow.
Discomfort will move you
Yes,
to
it will.
innovation. Yeah. So people just get comfortable. Don't get comfortable. Innovate.
So you said something though, and I think it probably is the step one in what I'm going to ask you about as far as the recipe of success, the
Mhm.
whole creation part,
Yeah.
being able to see our businesses from what I call 4D, not just 3D, but 4D, really looking into them and being able to solve problems and fill needs.
Yeah.
Do you find that maybe entrepreneur, because this is what I know, Dr. Dentley, while somebody else was bemoaning the economy, somebody else was going to the bank.
Yes.
While somebody else was laying off,
Yeah.
somebody else was redefining and hiring.
Yeah.
How do we now begin to reposition ourselves
Yeah.
into another modality of thinking, right? You
Yeah.
talked about books, but
Yeah.
how do we feed that creative, that God part of us
Mhm.
that doesn't see any limitation?
Yes. That's why we created Charity, the Business Accelerator. That's why we're launching the JD3 network, to be able to bring thought leaders, people who have kind of figured it out or on the journey to that, because you've got to be able to shift your environment. You see, when you change the way you look at things, then the things you look at will change. Albert
Absolutely.
Einstein said you cannot elevate to another level of your life and in your living using the same level of thinking that got you the way you are in the first place. So how do you do that? And you don't disrupt and just uproot all of your friendships and relationships and get rid of them. You love these people, still love them, but you've got to expand, because in the human existence, we're the only species that really lives that makes a conscious choice to stop growing. Mother Nature does not provide that opportunity. For the tree can't decide it doesn't want to grow high. It grows as high as it's designed to grow. So us with the unlimited potential and using very little of our brain power, and that's changing. It's going to change even more with artificial intelligence and with technology, because machinery, computers will help us be able to think better, faster. Whether we like it or not, it's coming.
Mhm.
These things are coming. So, it's really about getting plugged in and to especially our events, because our events are all about helping you find your unique gift, your unique proposition, and bringing it to the world. And it doesn't mean everybody has to get rich, because there's a lot of ways to be rich and wealthy, because you can live forever by the people that you touch. And every person has something to offer, every last person.
Dr. Dentley, we're going to take a very quick commercial break. When we get back, though, I want to talk to you about the science of success.
Okay.
What we know is that there is a system and a strategy. It doesn't just happen. We want to talk to you about that. And then what's on the horizon? What's the next big idea? We'll be right back. Welcome to Mogul, the place where business, lifestyle, and possibilities collide. Hello, my name is Charity Smith. I'm Ms. Mogul. I'm a business leader, global speaker, trusted economic development strategist, media personality, author, advocate, and lioness mom. We're taking you next door and around the world, conversing with business leaders about the news of the day, emerging business trends, and introducing your family to possibilities that will help you live life to its fullest. Listen, we're really excited about our special interest stories where we connect you with authentic faith, spirituality, and abundant thinking. Tune in right here, streaming live on this platform or on a mobile device near you. And listen, don't forget to subscribe to this show and discover the mogul in you. We're excited to connect with you, and we'll see you streaming live right here. And we are back. We're back with Dr. Dentley. And before we went to commercial break, I was telling you that I wanted you to talk to us about the science of success. I wanted to leave them dangling with the carrot and wanting for more. You have been able to master various industries. How does a man who starts out in the restaurant business, then in multi-level marketing, then go on to create a speaker camp that's a multi-million-dollar camp, and then go on to JD3 TV that's now positioned to be a billion-dollar industry? There had to be a science to this. I want you to walk us through, Dr. Dentley, what is the methodology of success?
Let me qualify it this way. I've had 17 different companies. I've owned nightclubs, restaurants, beauty salons, import, export, contracting, real estate investing. I've done a lot of different things. And I found out the hard way because I didn't have a mentor. I did not have a mentor. So let's talk about the ingredients. I feel you need that because if you want to bake a cake, there are ingredients to go into your cake that will determine the outcome of the cake. If you have someone in your family that makes the best dressing, the best mac and cheese, right?
Come
They
on.
have a certain recipe, and consistently you want that person to be the person that brings, that fulfills that dish to you because you understand the consistency. You understand that the expectation will be met, and sometimes it will be even taken to a higher level.
Absolutely.
And it starts with the recipe. What are you putting in? So the first thing you have to understand and you have to get clarity. What is it that you really want? And I think that most of us struggle right there, Charity, because think about it. We go to a restaurant, people go to McDonald's and they go to the drive-thru. It says, welcome to McDonald's, may I help you? And can I take your order, please? And they say, okay, let me think. It's the same menu that's been all your life. They've added yogurt, some salads, and a spicy chicken sandwich.
And that is it.
That's it. It's the same. And we order basically the same things. So we get these menus and we can't make decisions. So you got to get clarity because in clarity, you can be decisive when you get to that brawl. Which way are you going to go? And if you go the wrong way, well, you turn around and you bank a left. You just shift it, but you go. See, most people sit on the fence trying to be decisive because they won't decide because they get this anxiety. And then anxiety is really your body telling you that you need to move forward. It's just telling you just need to move forward into this unknown space because you've been so comfortable because we can get comfortable even in the midst of pain. We can learn to endure it,
That's
get used to it.
a whole different message. Okay.
Amen. Okay. So, get clarity. What do you want? Get a piece of paper and we do what is called a Ben Franklin. On the left side, you write all the things you want. There's no magic in small dreams. It doesn't take any more effort to think big than to think small. On the left side, write all the things you don't want. Everything you don't want in your life. In the human existence is pretty simple. Whether I lived in Chicago, Atlanta, Midland, Odessa, Abilene, Dallas, Houston, people are people. They're culturally a little different, but we want the same things for our family and for our life. We want it to be meaningful, a sense of purpose. We want to be happy, be safe, be fruitful. Everybody wants that. And everybody wants to avoid the same drama in life and harm. So get clarity on what you want, number one. Number two, when you're writing that list out of the things you want, it may be a list and you might have a list of 5 things. What do? You look at that list of 5 and you pick the best one. And if it doesn't work, then you pick the next best one. Because in everything you're doing, you're going to also be growing. It's like you're collecting all these pieces of a puzzle and you don't know what they mean because there's no picture on the box. But if you get enough pieces, you'll know where they fit. You'll say, okay, all the blues, this is blue, this is blue. So they connect, and it will be made clear to you. But you have to keep moving. So you get clarity, okay? What it is you want to do. Now, when you look at what you want to do, you ask yourself, what problem do you solve, or what need did you fulfill? Because entrepreneurs, as Jay Samit would say, we don't sell things, we solve things.
That's good.
No problem. You fill a need. Okay. People need to be inspired, and you're pretty good at inspiring people. Then you can create a business. If you're an educator and you're a good reader and you read, and you probably be great at editing. You can help people with their books. There's always a gift that every person has that you can turn into a business. I've got a company called the Pet Butler because I had a German Shepherd, and when I had to have surgery, I couldn't really walk him every day, and I honestly didn't really want to. It was cold in Chicago. But he would poop in the backyard, and then you have that challenge. Okay, so this company is called the Pet Butler. They came and cleaned up poop, and they came 2 days a week to clean up poop. Now, who would ever thought you create a business picking up dog crap? So you solve a problem, you fill a need. I had a problem, I didn't want to pick it up, couldn't really get out there to pick it up. Somebody solved the problem, started a business. So you can make a business. Right now, they have these paintings that are online. And people are making these online paintings, and they are bidding on them and getting $60 to $70 million for something they just created. I mean, they take the necklace you have on and make it into a painting, and people are paying $20 million for that painting. You can solve a problem and fill a need. Somebody is looking for something abstract, different, and you can do that. The next thing you want to do is that you want to study everything close to the industry that you want to be in. Study the best in class. Find out what they do. Do your homework. Don't be lazy in your language, and don't be lazy in the work needed that you need to put in to build something great. Because what the effort you put into it is what is going to bring back to you. It's just like plowing a field and you only want to work 2 hours a week. Well, don't expect a major harvest because you're not going to have enough time vested, and you're not going to get good at it because you're not investing in it. So you want to dive into it. Seek mentorship. And that's why we have the different events. That's why we have your programs. Ms. Mogul didn't get that name means something. Okay. So you want to study from the best in class and study from people who are doing it. And then you really want to lock into what are your real values. What things are you not willing to compromise no matter what? Because the longest distance between 2 points is always a shortcut. I don't believe in getting rich quick, but I think you get broke faster. People win the lottery every single day, but 70% of lottery winners are broke inside of the first 9 to 12 months. So there's a recipe to understanding, to growing in that process. And then you got to be willing to go to work. So you have to have some great time management. Now, the problem with time management is nobody knows what time means. If I ask someone, what does time management mean? And they give me cliches. What is time? Time is money. Time is important. Time is your life. There is a true definition of time. It's a series of events consistently moving from the past through the present to the future. So time is events.
That's good.
That's management, to control. If you're managing your business, my job is to control the environment, the culture, and the business that you'll put me in charge of. So what is time management? Event control. So now you have to learn how to control events. That will lock down your time. What's an event? Everything. Time you spend with your kids are events. Time you spend with your parents, event. Time you spend at work, event. Time you spend with your friends, event. Time you spend with yourself is an event. Schedule it. Make it important. You make it important, it makes you important, and then you can measure your progress and where you're going. The challenge is we're doing things, but only what gets measured gets done.
That's good.
So you have to be able to measure it. Okay. And don't beat yourself up. You have to have a dream. You have to keep feeding your imagination. You have to look at what's next. Every person, when you look at, I remember hearing, I'm in Chicago, Michael Jordan. That's all we got.
Okay. We'll take
the Cubs, but okay. So this is the Cubs after 100 years. They won a championship. Same thing with Magic when they did it, Isaiah when they did it. They won a championship, Golden State Warriors. And before they get off the court, they hold up 2 fingers. What does that mean? Repeat. You haven't even celebrated the win. You just won less than 2 minutes ago. And you're already repeat. Let's do it again. People who excel at the highest level, I have studied, they always look at what's next.
That's good.
What's next?
That's good. Dr. Dentley, so we have 5 minutes, and here is the biggest question of all for you, and I need for you to give it to me in 3 minutes, please.
Okay.
You have an uncanny ability to identify what's the next big thing. Most people are still talking about the millionaire mantra. You've passed that up. You said, no, that's the everyday person. Now you're challenging business owners to have the billionaire mindset, the billionaire mantra. What is the formula for that? How do we identify the next big thing and adapt that mindset to serve more people? How do we do that? How do we go bigger?
Yeah. Well, I will tell you the main thing is that you have to be able to have access to the people who are creating it or who have created it in the past who live in that space. And that's exactly what I've been able to do. But I was only able to do it by going out there to serve other people who were playing bigger than I was. And not to say that I worked for them and carried their bags, but I made myself useful. I learned a long time ago, if you can be good at something and be useful, then the world will make room for your gifts. So let's look at, first of all, technology. There's going to be more billionaires created in the next 3 years that were created in the last 15. If you look at this phone, this device, there was a time it was a flip phone, time it was a brick phone, it was 3 times bigger and bulkier. And think about how many billion-dollar companies have been created through apps on this phone. The next thing is going to be some digital glasses. And they're still creating applications because 5G is here. Nobody knows what it is. They don't know, you can't see it, but you know it's powerful. So in imagination, if it has the ability to make things go bigger, faster, and smarter, what industry are you in, and what do you want to do to make it bigger, faster, smarter? So let's just say for the clothing industry, you have a boutique. Okay. Now you look at COVID, people are not coming out as much. People are not buying as many clothes, so they're not going out as much. So how do you move those clothes? And what do you do? Well, you can shift and say, okay, action wear for right now. Okay. Along with our other line. So how are we going to take a unique situation, our business, that's everyone has a boutique from the beginning of the time, and go into a unique space? You use technology to do it. Use word of mouth. You ask the question is, where is my customer at right now? Who already has my customer? And how can I position myself to joint venture to bring value to them so that their customers can also shop with me? That's one way to doing it. Build up your influence. You build up your influence. Influence gives you power because you have the ability now to direct people because you're bringing value and somebody says, I like that. And then you're just off and running. So there's a lot of ways to do it, but technology right now is what's going to drive everything on the planet from this point forward. And how do you want to take your business and how do you want to tap into technology? Because technology will give you more time because you won't have to be in your boutique or in your business. So you can work on it and not always work in it, and you can have a life.
You're doing that with JD3 TV. And we have so many wonderful things coming out now, right? The one and done app. So you're not a person who's just putting the talk out there. We're seeing you walk this through. If you could leave today's business leader with the silver bullet, with the gold nugget, and what it takes to have a $1 billion mindset. And you tell us all the time, it's not always about the money, it's about the service that you provide. But if you could leave us with that one glimmer of advice to take and employ and put action to right now to leverage and scale, what would it be?
Go to www.businessaccelerator2021.com. Get registered now because in 2 days, it's going to be 3 times the amount to register. It's very, very inexpensive. On that event, we're going to launch the JD3 TV network and talk to you about how that will benefit you, launch this new one and done app and show you how that's going to help you do everything we've talked about. But then you're going to learn from 6 individuals who are personal friends of mine who have built multi-billion-dollar and multi-million-dollar companies and done it over and over and over again. And they're here for one moment, one reason only, and to serve. They're not there trying to sell anything. They're there trying to make a difference. And they get a kick out of helping you get on the other side of money, get money as an issue out of the way, because then we can help more people. And that's what we really need. We need a bigger posse because a rising tide floats all boats.
Love that. It's all about serving at a higher level. Dr. Dentley, it has been my esteemed pleasure to host you today for this special segment of Mogul Talk. Listen, you all, if you have not done so already, make sure you go to businessaccelerator2021.com. Make sure you register for that event right now. I can guarantee you, you won't leave the same way you went in. Dr. Dentley, thank you again for sharing this time and this moment with us. We appreciate you more than you know. Thank you all for joining us for this segment. We'll be right back.